Hello YouTube, it's me again, JR23 with a common collaborator.
Hello, I'm Bencobb99, or Bencobb Productions, however you want to know us, whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Yep, and as you can tell by the thumbnail, we are talking about na 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 na.
Batman!
Yep, because we think that Batman's a really good discussion to talk about. So, where do we start?
I think we should start at probably the most commercially, kind of acceptable Batman, and I think that's Adam West.
Yeah,
So, I think it's best to start with Adam West.
or the comics, really. I mean, it doesn't
Or
matter.
comics, but,
Yeah, well, we're gonna talk about the movie and cartoons and the video games, all the adaptations that we think are the best, and then
I'm
come.
not really that familiar. I'm familiar with a few graphic novels that Batman's been in, but I'm not too familiar with the comics because
I
I've never
have
kept up with them.
I do have a lot of the comic books from
Um,
years.
Various cartoons. I only really know one that I can talk about in length, and that's the Batman animated series
Okay.
from 1992.
Okay, well, let's start off with Adam West. So, have you seen any of the show or the movie?
I generally watch the show pretty much. Like it's always on this. In UK, we'll have this channel called just Channel 4. Pretty bad name to be honest. Or ITV4, and it just replays a lot of the old Batman episodes. And I catch one here and there. But I have watched the movie, which I think, honestly, not many people like it, but I think it's absolutely friggin' hilarious.
I think it's awesome. It's
I
a
mean,
great piece of pop culture from the 60s.
I mean,
Um,
like at that time, right? And a lot of people complain about it, a lot of true Batman fans complain about it, but I don't know why the fuck they complain about it because, I mean, think about it. At that time, Batman started off quite dark. I mean, he was more of like a cop slash detective sort of person,
yeah.
and it was the '60s. I mean,
Yeah, I
everything
mean,
was then, and Batman wasn't really known as the dark figure that he is today. That Tim Burton made him.
yeah, like,
I mean,
it's kind of, you can kind of say the same thing about 007, is that, back
yeah.
then it was just, he was the agent that, banged women. They didn't have anything about him being a cold-hearted murderer and his conflictions about it until Daniel Craig's movies and even sort of Dalton's. But back to Batman, I
I
think
mean,
that for 1960s, the series with Adam West was a great series. I mean, great piece of pop
yeah,
culture, and it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed it.
yeah. I mean, there is things that are stupid, but you can just overlook them because you just think, you know what? It's pointless complaining about it
Mhm.
because, I mean, it is just pointless complaining about it because not only can you not change anything, but just go with the flow. It's
Yeah.
funny, and Adam West is funny. Adam West is brilliant. I think
It's got some great lines too, and I love Cesar Romero as the Joker. I mean, he was a great precursor because he had a lot of the great elements of the Joker, and a lot of the villains on there were really well done.
I
Um,
mean, um, I mean, Cesar Romero was just batshit crazy. I mean, there
yeah,
is different Jokers who are crazy, but I mean, Cesar Romero, he genuinely was batshit crazy.
it worked
But
for the show.
yeah, fun fact as well. Did you know that Cesar Romero refused to shave off his mustache for the show
Yeah, so
and the movie?
you can tell because like they painted over it.
Painted over his mustache. I mean, it's stuff like that that just you have to
Yeah,
forgive. But generally, I don't see why this has got such widespread hate.
yeah,
Honest, I mean, it's not like the comics. I mean, around that time, I mean, in fact, there actually was like movies and video games. There was actually a ban on comic books and graphic novels because the people thought they were getting too violent, and so a lot of comics really had to dumb down their comics to like science fiction and stuff
yeah.
like that. So did Batman, and you had to make something that was commercially viable to everyone. And Batman, had to
They
go
did
with the
that
flow as
really
well.
good. They did that successfully.
Yeah. I mean, the comics in the 50s were really going a bit downhill, but that's the comics. I mean, film wise and TV show wise, that was really, going up
Yeah.
in the ranks. I
I
mean,
think we got. Have you ever seen Scooby Doo meets Batman?
oh my god, that's horrible.
I love that movie though. When I saw it, I haven't seen it since I was like 8 years old, but I liked it when I was 8 years old. I thought it was just a fun little movie. But yeah, that's like the kind of stuff they had out before Tim Burton's Batman in 1989. I think Tim Burton's Batman from 1989 is the best Batman movie ever. It's my
Yes,
personal favorite.
will happily agree. And Tim, I mean, a lot of people praise Tim Burton, and I mean, hats off to him. He did make Batman very dark and very sinister in the
Yeah,
way that
and he did it in a way that was like commercially viable to everybody in a way still.
But and then I mean, obviously the sequel to Tim Burton's Batman,
Batman Returns.
Batman, yeah, Batman Returns. That film, however,
That
was not as commercially viable to everyone because it was too dark, and a lot of people
and
complained.
personally, I don't like Batman Returns.
I do. I really and I enjoy both these films.
I'm
Um,
sorry,
I,
but I just okay. I'm gonna get so much shit for this, but I like Batman Forever more than Batman Returns.
oh no, no. Okay, let's just stop right there, because I mean, this is my opinion. Yes, I know, but I just think Batman Returns is so beautifully done. The characters,
I
there
don't
is a
like the way it's
villain.
done. It's more Tim Burton than it is Batman. I mean, Danny
Yeah,
DeVito's portrayal of the Penguin, yes, it was a multi-layered character as he was more three-dimensional, but he was too. I felt it was too over the top with all the set pieces and stuff. Some of the action was cooler, and I actually think the action's better than Batman Forever. Everything else, other than another great performance by Michael Keaton, just I think I don't know. I didn't like it.
now, I mean, I do enjoy Batman Returns. Just, I mean, I love the look of it. It did again capture that. Yes, there was elements that didn't really match the comics, but then again, film is a different kind of media and art to
Yeah,
comics. Obviously, you
and
can't perfect all the time, but I don't know. The Tim Burton really did. He took a stab at them, and he really did
he
do
did.
well with them, in my
And I
opinion.
think Michael Keaton is the best Batman for
Yes,
sure.
because with Michael Keaton, which I prefer over the maybe Val Kilmer did this as well, but I'd much prefer Michael Keaton over Christian Bale because I think the
Yeah,
nostalgia critic,
yeah,
he made a really good point saying that Michael Keaton is a good Batman because he doesn't let all his emotions out. He doesn't let
yeah.
his angst overtake
He
him.
played
And
Batman with the layers that were required, with his parents being dead.
yeah,
But he also played the mysterious Bruce Wayne, and he pulled off the three Bruce Waynes. The drunken party Bruce Wayne, the one that how Batman works.
yeah,
He plays a drunken idiot to make people think that's who he is, so no one would suspect he's Batman. The
and as
real
well, I think I prefer him over someone like Christian Bale, who is
yeah,
very widely loved. But
I
I
like
prefer him
Christian
over
Bale a
Christian
lot.
Bale. I mean, I like Christian Bale, but I prefer Michael Keaton because Christian Bale lets out a lot of his emotions,
Yeah,
generally in the party and like mood. And when he is angry, he'll just let it out and be a little bitch sometimes. I mean, fair enough. In Batman Begins, when he when
yeah.
his
When he was just
parents died,
starting.
and he
Yeah,
like. I'm not even kidding. That scene really got to me because a lot of
yeah.
from what I've heard, some people, don't really like regard Batman Begins as really, one of the best out of
I
the
think it
three
is one of the
newer
best. I
movies.
think I think
It
it's
is.
better than The Dark Knight Rises.
I prefer it over the Dark Knight Rises. I mean, the Dark Knight was just, oh, that was unbelievable.
We'll
But
get to that
Batman
later.
Begins got me so sad at that point.
Yeah.
But
Well, and
when you
especially
spoke,
you got to give Batman Begins for credit for creating a better universe after the universe that Tim Burton established was destroyed by Batman or by Joel Schumacher's films. And while I like Batman Forever, that's more for nostalgia reasons because that was the first Batman movie I saw.
hmm.
But Batman and Robin is utter shit.
Well, first I'm going to probably talk about something that isn't the Warner Brothers films.
Yeah.
Well, it's still Warner Brothers, but the Batman animated
The
series.
animated
Now,
series is awesome.
I love. Now, not only do I love that from my childhood, because I didn't watch as much of the show, but I did watch a movie called Mask of the Phantasm,
Which is
which I'll get to that in a bit.
Mhm.
But the series is just so well portrayed.
Yeah, it
And
is.
my other favorite Batman, who just plays the voice, who
Kevin
doesn't have to
Conroy.
act, so I'll give him that. But Kevin Conroy, he has the
Yeah,
best Batman voice.
he
I'm
is.
not even
He has the
kidding.
best one.
And Kevin
And
Conroy made such a good performance, even if it is just a voice performance. I
doesn't
could go
matter.
so in depth about the Batman animated series, but I'm not
Yeah,
going to right
yeah.
now because,
Yeah. I have not seen Mask of the Phantasm yet, but my favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series was the Christmas special with the Joker.
I'm
Have you seen that one?
now that has to actually be one of my worst
That
episodes.
was the first one I ever saw. I mean,
Uh,
I love
one of
watching.
my favorite, which is also very widely loved. I can't remember. I think it won an Emmy award. I can't really remember which award
I
it
think
won, but it was Heart of Ice. Now that
Oh
episode I
yeah, yeah,
loved.
I've seen that one. I love that one too. That's a great one.
Believable.
I liked, yeah, I love the whole animated series, and I know you love Mask of the Phantasm.
Fantastic movie. That's one of my favorite Batman movies. Just period. I mean, there's my
Hmm.
favorite Batman, which is tied between Kevin Conroy and Michael Keaton, but that was just my favorite
Like,
Batman movie.
um, like Batman and Robin is more of a cartoon than Batman the animated series.
Yeah, and also it has my favorite Joker, by the way.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill,
Yeah,
best.
I still think that Heath Ledger is probably the best Joker. We'll get to that later, whatever. Yeah, I think that oh my God, Batman and Robin just destroyed everything. But you gotta give Batman and Robin credit for creating the Christopher Nolan movies and for getting rid of the Tim Burton Superman movie that was gonna star Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage, OD. Right, but first let's go on to Batman Forever.
Batman
Now,
Forever.
you enjoyed this film, and you've probably got quite a bit to say about it.
I do. It was the first Batman movie I ever saw, and I just, when I first saw that movie, it just got me into Batman so much. Like, once I saw that movie, I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I was like 6 years old, and I thought Batman was the coolest thing ever. And, back then in elementary school, it wasn't cool to like Batman. It wasn't cool to like this guy who wore tights and stuff. And around the time The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises weren't even out. And so everyone would give me
Yeah.
shit for liking Batman, thinking, oh, it's so retarded and stuff. But, I just thought it was a cool thing, and it got me to watch Tim Burton's Batman and the
And
Batman animated series. And there was this other series of Batman cartoons I watched called The Batman. It was
I don't really like that. I've seen that a couple times. I've
I
seen a
liked it
couple
when I was
episodes.
younger because it was on Boomerang and Cartoon Network. So
Hmm.
I would always watch it because we didn't have the hub, which is where I would watch the Batman animated series, but I went to
Yeah.
the video store and got some Batman animated series episodes. But that and the Incredible Hulk were my favorite superheroes because I loved Ang Lee's Hulk. Don't anymore, obviously, but and then I loved the Lou Ferrigno series. So those
Yeah.
were the two superheroes of my childhood. Well, Spider-Man too, even Superman, but that's not like until I was 8 years old where I got into that. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
so
going off subject, Spider-Man also was very big childhood
yeah, we'll probably do
thing
another
of mine.
discussion about that even.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I like Batman Forever. But I do admit, very over the top movie, very stupid. And
Jim Carrey's performance was just another Jim Carrey's
yeah, I
performance.
agree with that. I think the Riddler deserves better. I wish I could have seen him in a Christopher Nolan movie.
No,
Um,
I'm not gonna lie. I think Jim Carrey he was really just someone who thought, oh look, he's popular now, the kids will like him,
yeah,
and
and Tommy
throw him in
Lee,
there, and it was just another Jim Carrey performance.
and it
Now,
was
I
also just
love
another.
Jim Carrey, but
Yeah,
turning Batman into a comedy, I don't
did not work.
understand. What I really don't understand how, like you said before about ruining, well, not so much ruining, but changing uh,
The Tim Burton universe.
the Tim Burton Batman world. I mean, I don't think that you can really go for a change. I mean, change is good sometimes,
But not in the
but
way that Joel Schumacher did, which I can't blame him for because you gotta remember, Joel Schumacher's done some great films, He's done The Lost Boys, which is dark, he's done Phone Booth, and he can make a good thriller, but I think it was the studio that wanted to make it more lighthearted after Batman Returns. And, I think that Joel Schumacher could have done without the bat nipples and stuff, but when you're trying to balance all the demographics, which the first Tim Burton movie did so well, you
yeah.
really just,
I mean,
yeah.
um, I know he's like obviously gay and stuff, and I mean, I've got absolutely nothing with homosexuality
No, me
whatsoever.
neither.
So people who comment saying,
Don't hate
Ben's
gay people.
homophobic, that
Yeah.
I'm not, okay, but it was unnecessary to go out and make the most homoerotic film like Batman ever. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just there
So,
was the close up ass shots. It was just no, just it wasn't needed.
oh my god.
Um,
I gotta show a clip of me and Willie doing a reaction to that. I'll edit it in later.
but yeah, I mean that's just what I think. But I think he definitely changed the world for the worse, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Now, out of pure nostalgia reasons, any film can be good, but out of pure nostalgia reasons, sorry, any film can be bad, but out of pure nostalgia reasons, you may like it.
Yeah,
Like, there's some films from my childhood that I cannot let go of, no matter how bad they are.
yeah, same
I
here.
mean, yeah, it's just like it's with a lot of people. It's
Yeah.
just childhood memories and nostalgia. It's just
hmm
that's what people like.
Something that. Okay, now let's get to the Christopher Nolan universe. But before that, how about we talk about the Batman games on PS3 and Xbox
Yes.
360?
Now this is actually now I wouldn't really count it as part of the film, so I don't really bring this up often in Batman discussions.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do it now.
that is my favorite universe, Batman
It's
universe.
pretty awesome. I
It's
love.
it has all my favorite actors apart from Origins, which used very very talented voice actors, obviously, but still the previous two games, Arkham
Yeah,
Asylum
Arkham
and
Asylum, Arkham
Arkham
City. I mean, they're
City.
such excellent games, so suspenseful, and so I
Yeah.
love how Arkham Asylum was like a die-hard thing for Batman. Like he was trapped in Arkham Asylum and stuff.
Oh yeah, I
The,
mean, and as well, it had such a good universe, such a well set out universe. The
yeah,
Joker was fantastic by Mark Hamill and Kevin
again.
Conroy, and it really did bring back memories of the animated series.
Yes, it was very reminiscent of every single universe, and it just worked perfectly. I haven't played Origins yet, but Arkham City was pretty awesome too.
I actually prefer Arkham Asylum.
I
I'm
do
not
too.
gonna lie.
I do too.
Gameplay I thought was better.
Yeah,
Attacks were better. Like
attacks were aw-
fighting is
Yeah, like fighting
better,
Bane, doing that.
and
That
it just
was
felt a bit more sloppy on Arkham City.
yeah, I suppose, but it
Um,
was still a great game. But
It was
yeah,
always a fantastic game. I mean, I love the Penguin and that. He was so
yeah, that
brilliant.
was
And I
awesome.
love all the little Riddler, the Scarecrow crews that,
Yeah, like
clues,
they did with
sorry.
the Riddler in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, and just stuff like that. Just lots of awesome stuff. It was just
Yeah,
it was a very good game, especially Asylum, though. I just, that'll always remain. I think it
yeah,
was one of the first PS3 games I ever completed.
same here. Now onto the Christopher Nolan universe. I think we've covered Batman Begins well enough. Onto
I
the
mean, yeah. I mean, there's not too much to say other than the fact that this is quite a common complaint. I have to agree with it.
mhm,
I But actually, there's a couple of complaints.
go
I
ahead.
wasn't a fan of the Scarecrow, and Batman, I think, came in a little bit late. Now,
I suppose
it did have a lot of time to kind of explain itself for obvious
for depth.
reasons. It did
Yeah,
have to kind of set the boundaries, make his backstory,
hmm
and that's what I thought a lot of it was about. It was Batman Begins was needed.
it
I mean,
was
Christopher Nolan could have just went straight in
like
and
Tim
went
Burton
ahead and
did.
did the Dark Knight.
And but I really loved the themes in the movie. Much like how I love Spider-Man 2, I loved the themes in Batman Begins because, it was just, how revenge wasn't always the answer. What Bruce Wayne was turning into, the reason why he was Batman was to basically just be a signal. Just how do I explain it? It wasn't. It was more so helping others to prevent from the same fate. It's
Yeah,
kind of what he stood for, and he stood for fear for the villains because
yeah.
he was fearful himself.
I mean, his biggest fear was Bat, and it was a
hmm
big childhood,
Trauma.
it was a big
Long
childhood trauma of his. So he wanted to strike fear in his enemies,
Yeah, by
much like his universe and his
hmm
childhood angst and trauma.
yeah,
Much like that made him fear,
yeah,
what it fears today, and there's quite a deep message behind it,
yeah.
honestly.
On to The Dark Knight. This movie was the first Batman movie I ever saw in theaters, and for the longest time, it really was my favorite Batman movie.
I'm trying to remember. I did not actually see it in cinemas. However, I remember my brother went to go see it in theaters, and my dad then bought the DVD so we could all watch it just downstairs together, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, like I love the entire movie, but one little problem. Sometimes it doesn't. I feel like Batman's sort of in the background. It's more of a crime drama that has Batman. Like in a few scenes, it just felt like that. Like, you know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean, yeah,
But you know what? It was so grounded in reality, and it was so intense, and Heath Ledger was so good in it, and it all came together to make what is objectively probably the most well done Batman film ever made. Because it had more themes too to add, like about
yeah,
society. That's something I think Christopher Nolan does really well, and I loved how the chemistry with him and Rachel and Harvey Dent, how it's sort of a love triangle, but not like an over dramatic love triangle.
And I think Christopher Nolan does that very well. He
Yeah.
knows how to get a point across without having to overemphasize it like a lot of films do.
Exactly. Michael Caine, I gotta bring up, because Michael Caine has just been consistently good in these movies.
He has.
And I mean, Alfred, Michael Gough in the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher films, he did great, but Alfred had more involvement emotionally.
I mean, I was about to mention that Michael Gough, he definitely, I actually really enjoyed his performance as Alfred, even in the Joel Schumacher films.
Even
Hell,
in
I'll
Batman
even
and
say,
Robin.
even in Batman and Robin, he actually did a good performance.
He actually, and I
It's the
liked
only redeeming
how
quality.
the one thing I did like about Batman and Robin is the part with Michael Gough, how he was dying and how Batman couldn't stop somebody from dying no matter what because it was inevitable. Like
The
how
message was strong, but
then
I feel that.
But then he
Joel
came back
Schumacher
to life
did
in the end. He just like took a shit on all of that.
Yeah. I mean, like,
So
I think it would have been better if Joel Schumacher had not went ahead and made it the childish thing that it is,
like the
but
studios
really
wanted him to.
showed I mean, obviously put some elements in that were from the comic, but really showed the reality of the situation that Batman is facing.
And he could have done that. He could have done that so well too. I know he could.
With Michael Gough as Alfred dying, I mean, that would be a perfect setup.
Yeah.
Honestly, that would be the perfect setup for a Batman film. However, Joel Schumacher really did not present this the way that it should have been presented. He actually made it a half-assed story.
Yeah.
While incorporating this really deep thing
and
into it.
It didn't deserve that story.
The message that Batman, like you said earlier, he can't save. He
just
can't
like
save
in The Dark
anyone.
Knight, which Christopher Nolan did much better with Rachel and Harvey. Because what I love about the scene when Joker sets up Harvey and Rachel is that Batman goes for Harvey because he believes that he has to rescue the person that Gotham needs, not who he needs. And that is just a heroic sacrifice that I think was executed extremely well.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, that's one I think that's so great about it. And Heath Ledger's Joker, it's like, you said Cesar Romero was just batshit crazy, but while Heath Ledger's Joker is batshit crazy, he also had he had morals, he developed his plans, and it worked so well. And I love how Christopher Nolan set up the villain because the Joker was a huge step up from Scarecrow because I didn't feel Scarecrow really got enough screen time or anything. Neither did Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. It's kind of like with Star Trek to Star Trek Into Darkness and the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek. Eric Bana's villain wasn't that good, but then you go into Darkness and you see Benedict Cumberbatch's villain.
Yeah.
It's like a huge step up, so it's like you can easily compare all these guys.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, the action sequences were so good. Like, in Batman Begins, the shaky cam, I didn't like that, but in in The Dark Knight, it was much better, I think.
Yeah, now, making a point about, the various different Batmans as well, but Joker, I think, let's compare it to maybe someone like Cesar Romero. Yes, they're two very different Jokers, but I think Heath Ledger definitely, even though his past life is very, very, very rarely hinted on. It's lightly hinted on, but there isn't too much behind it.
But I kind of like that he's kind of a mystery himself.
Yeah, he's a mystery. You know that he's had a dark past. Well, there's someone like Cesar Romero is there really just to make you think, Jesus Christ, he's just another crazy villain. Whereas Heath Ledger, not only he may have a reason, but he's a well set up villain.
Yeah.
He has
I could say the same about Jack Nicholson, but Heath Ledger was just more well done.
I've totally forgot about Jack Nicholson actually. Jack Nicholson, I enjoyed him as the Joker, but yet again, I don't think I think his backstory is a little bit shoddy.
Yeah, I like how unpredictable Jack Nicholson was, but they were both unpredictable as the Joker, and that's what I like.
And what a lot of people complain about with the Tim Burton films is how much Tim Burton kind of changed and morphed the various things from the comics.
That doesn't bother me that much. Because
and that doesn't bother me. I was about to say, a lot of people complain about it, diehard Batman fans who do read the comics.
Yeah.
And
And I've
who
read the
judge
comics.
the
I've read
films,
them.
constantly judge the films. But I mean, Jesus Christ, just it's a film. I mean, I take film very seriously, but
Yeah, same here.
sometimes there's some people who are so critical about the smallest things.
Yeah,
And
it
yes,
just,
it's good to be critical. I mean, if you're a film critic, then obviously,
of
but
course.
sometimes it's just not needed. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of Batman fans, diehard Batman fans, are.
But yeah. Next up, my least favorite of the Nolan trilogy, but still an excellent Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises.
I think it is one of the. It is my. I mean, a lot of people said it was definitely the best one. I have to disagree with that
Yeah, me
because
too.
I thought a lot of it was not as deep. It was a good end and it wrapped everything up. I think it was really just there to wrap everything up. And I feel that The Dark Knight works so well because it is the middle kind of the film. It's the middle
Yeah, and
between
it
the
kind of
trilogy,
managed to
and I think
stray away
that
from all those
lets
other
that
main
gives
films.
Christopher Nolan room to kind of make his own story and bend it and make a really good story without having
Yeah.
to wrap anything up, without having to start anything,
hmm
whether still wrapping up, what's in the film. Whereas Batman Begins had to start it all off. You had to make an impression.
I still love The Dark Knight Rises though because I love how they show that Batman, Bruce Wayne is a human being. He can get hurt. He can
Yeah,
he can be in pain and he can have trouble getting back on his feet and I mean I
yeah,
love that aspect of him trying to become Batman again because Bane's taken over and Bane, played by Tom Hardy, was excellent.
but
No,
yes.
no Heath Ledger's Joker, but definitely better than Two-Face.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I
I mean,
forgot to mention Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face. I loved his arc in that one too. How Harvey Dent became who he was trying to end in the mayor or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, on to Bane and Catwoman. Catwoman was great too. Anne Hathaway surprised me. She was really good. She was sort of an anti-hero in my eyes though, not really a villain.
But that's just Catwoman in general. I mean, even
Yeah.
Tim Burton films. I mean, especially Batman
Oh
Returns. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Batman Returns. I mean, what am I talking about? She wasn't even in the first one. Batman Returns. She was a real bitch, but then again,
Yeah.
she's just that is Catwoman though. I
That
mean,
is, and
no
I
one
think
else.
that, but yeah, I mean, I liked how she ended up becoming in alliance with Batman. I think that
Yeah,
worked because they wanted sort of the same thing, even though it's unclear what Catwoman wants. It's still in the end tied in rather well, and I gotta say it, I cried in one of uh Michael Caine's scenes, like not just like why, just kind of like oh shit,
I
that
know.
kind of
Yeah, where
crying
you
thing.
feel like a lump in your throat.
Yeah, like, and especially when he was crying at the end because he feels responsible for Bruce dying. I was like, no, why are you
It's
trying to
like,
make
no,
me
you don't
feel?
feel like that. It's
No,
not your fault. Oh,
no, don't cry, don't cry. But yeah, I feel like this movie is really emotional. I mean, it's the most emotional, and it also, in my opinion, has the best action sequences of the
yeah.
whole series.
It does. I mean, whoever worked on it, I'm sorry, I don't know the names. Whoever worked on the special effects, I think is brilliant through all the Batman films. I mean, I'm not too sure about Batman Begins, but a
But
really fun fact about Batman, The Dark Knight. Sorry, not Batman, The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is a lot of the effects were brilliant practical effects, and
yeah,
that was what
and
really surprised me. And I thought, a lot of the chase scenes in the
Dark Knight.
Tumblr,
Yeah, that
they
was just
I mean, I
freaking
thought they
awesome.
were CGI, but it turns out they're actually not.
Yeah,
They're
they were
very, very well
awesome.
done.
Saying
Well,
yeah, I mean, I think that The Dark Knight's still the best Batman movie to watch out of the three for a straight up action movie, but The Dark Knight Rises had definitely the best fight scene ever
yeah,
of the Batman, like any of the Batman movies, not just the
yeah,
Christopher Nolan ones, but any Batman movie, because that fight at the end where Bane just grabs his hand and has that intimidating look on his face and Batman's just extremely pissed off,
yeah.
that was just freaking
It is,
awesome, especially
and
in
I love it when
IMAX.
Bane freaks out and he starts punching the pillar.
Yeah, that was like,
That's
I broke you, I'm gonna break you again, you stupid motherfucker! Or
it's
something.
just like, stop it, Bane. You're making me angry.
Yeah, like, I mean, I thought he was just gonna Hulk out. Like, wait a
Uh,
minute, this is DC. But yeah, um, I'm really, I wish they could tie in the Dark Knight series with, the rest of the DC universe, like with Man of Steel, but that's obviously not gonna happen. But yeah,
um, just a quick note. what do you think will come of the new Batman and the new universe with the Man of Steel?
I just feel like they're rushing it and they're just not developing it enough. Because I feel like Ben Affleck's going to be the center of attention in the Man of Steel movie. I feel like they should keep Batman a mystery, and I think that would work if it was just those two, but now they want to get Wonder Woman and stuff.
Mm.
And I'm just like really nervous and skeptical because I think
Was it, now correct us on this. Was it Ben Affleck who was in Pearl Harbor?
Yes.
Michael Bay. Ugh.
But
I think I've expressed before my hate for Michael Bay in one of these movie discussions, but
I don't think Ben Affleck's a bad actor though.
he's not a bad actor. In fact, even in Pearl Harbor, however much I hate that film because it's Michael Bay, for obvious reasons, he was definitely a good actor in it. And
and in Daredevil, he was one of the things that worked about Daredevil, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think they're just trying too hard to compete with Marvel right now. But yeah, as far as now, I think that Batman has had some great games, great cartoons, and some really great movies. And
In fact, it's definitely becoming a much more popular kind of, kind of pop culture icon.
Yeah.
Batman is definitely, like, I know a lot of my friends at school who would have a few years ago just said, "Oh, Batman, that's for gays and wimps and pussies and stuff."
Yeah, but now they think it's
now
cool.
they're like wearing T-shirts and stuff. A lot of kids don't even know really about Batman, but still, I mean, I give them credit. They're wearing a T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I love Batman. I've always loved Batman. I always will love Batman.
I mean, I've just really gotten to reading the graphic novels, and they're fantastic too.
Yeah,
they're some of the best Batman universes, such as The Dark Knight Returns, which is in fact set in the future when Batman is almost near an old age.
Yeah. Something else that I like is a few years ago I was going on this comic series called Batman Confidential, and those are some great comics. If people ever go to comic book stores, I suggest looking for those. I mean, it's a good series. So yeah. Thanks for watching this video, everybody. Hope you sat through it.
It was a bit of a long one. But
yeah,
it's been me and Jay for another movie debate. Go check out my channel, Bencobb99. Just search in the top bar if there's the description or whatever. It's on the featured channel section. So just go check that out.
and hopefully next time we will have a Spider-Man discussion. So thanks for watching, everybody.
See you. Bye.